Bitcoin has risen very sharply over the past few days, sparking a fresh new wave of optimism for the digital asset going into Q4 of 2024. What's going on, guys? It's CryptoDave here at Top Tier Signals, and in this video I want to discuss why I think that Bitcoin is exiting its current mid-cycle correction and why I think that we are in the beginning stages of a fresh new bull run for Bitcoin and the broader crypto market. And guys, we do these updates every single week, so if you want to, please subscribe to the channel, tick that little bell, you won't miss a single post. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the discussion. So I want to start by comparing Bitcoin's current market cycle to the previous two market cycles that we've seen for Bitcoin. We can see just by looking at the growth since our cycle lows that we are sitting right in the middle of where we would have been in 2016, 2017, or in 2020, 2021. So we are right on track when it comes to the performance of Bitcoin since its actual bottom back in November of 2022. And as you guys can see, it was about Q4 of the halving year where things really started to kick off. Simply taking a look back in time, we can see that this is when Q4 of 2016 started, and this was the beginning stages of our 2016-2017 run, several months after the actual halving had occurred. So we had the halving, we had some pre-halving rallies, we corrected for a little bit, and then by Q4 of 2016, we were starting that fresh new wave of the bull market. And for the next 6-12 months, we had some very explosive and expansive price action. And going back to our 2020 cycle, we can see that in October of 2020, that's when things really started to shift for Bitcoin at that point in time. So once again, you'd already had the halving, you had a bit of a pre-halving run-up that was a bit early, and then you had a nice cool-down corrective period. Of course, we did have the COVID Black Swan event, but nonetheless, the pattern is all the same. And so once again, we are going into the fourth quarter of the halving year. The halving is already behind us. Just like the last two times, we front ran the actual halving. By the time it happened, we had hit a temporary top and we started that mid-cycle correction. And going into Q4 of this year, we are starting to see the tides turn. We are starting to see that bullish price action come into the lower timeframes. But I just want to focus on the monthly time frame here for just a second. Now, we've discussed this monthly time frame for quite a few weeks now. We are taking a look at the previous two cycle tops from 2021 and those monthly closures that were previously acting as resistance, now acting as newfound support. So this is a very promising thing to see. We came back up, we actually set in a new all-time high back in March, and then for the next 6-7 months, we have maintained monthly candle body closes at or above this sort of $58,000 to $61,000 range. So it's very important to see that a previous level of resistance where we would expect the sellers to come in, take control of the market, push price down, we are now seeing the exact opposite. We see Bitcoin is consolidating at this monthly level. We see that any sort of dips below this range are being bought up. And so we are getting a lot more strength at this level than we've previously had. This is a very textbook thing in technical analysis. When you have a previous level of resistance now acting as support, especially during a mid-cycle correction, it's very nice to see that we were able to build a base here for price action. Now, we're not quite out of the woods yet, I will say that, but things are starting to look a lot more promising. And the main thing I want you guys to pay attention to on the monthly time frame is this level right here, around $71,300. I truly think that a huge confirmation for me would be if we could get a nice candle body close above that level. I think that would be the final high time frame confirmation that Bitcoin is entering the second wave of this market cycle. So very exciting stuff. There's a ton of strength here on the monthly time frame that looks very good. Once again, we're just going to want to keep an eye on that $71,300 level. Can we get a monthly close above that level? That's what I'm going to be looking for. But other than that, things look very bullish here on the high time frame. So let's go ahead and move a little bit lower. Moving into the weekly time frame, we can see that we have a classic bull flag setup. This is a very common continuation pattern in technical analysis, and we are getting it on the weekly time frame for Bitcoin. We can see very clearly this initial wave to the upside establishes our flagpole. The prior 6 months of trading sideways and ultimately downward is establishing that flag pattern. But the important thing here is that during a 6-month period of time where weak hands are being flushed out of the market, narratives are kind of dying out, altcoins are underperforming, Bitcoin has been able to establish a base here. We've been able to rinse out the sellers from the market, and ultimately, as we're going to take a look on the lower time frames, buyers are coming in and taking control of that market and shifting the direction from a bearish sideways trend to a newfound uptrend. So we're going to take a look at that on the daily time frame, but I just wanted to point out this textbook bull flag pattern that we have here in technical analysis. So not only do we have history on our side telling us that Q4 of the halving year tends to be when things kick off, but we have a classic technical setup here with the bull flag where we are currently almost breaking it to the upside. It's a little bit subjective depending on how you want to draw your trend lines, but we are very close to getting a sharp weekly candle through this upper trend line here acting as resistance. So we want to see this upper trend line break. Ideally, we'd get a nice weekly close, followed by an additional week that both opens and closes outside of the range. This would be a great confirmation of a breakout here, and I think we'll get it here in the coming week or two. But regardless, not only is the monthly time frame looking good, but the weekly time frame is looking good too. But let's move a little bit lower and let's discuss the daily time frame. So the first thing I want to point out here on the daily time frame is that we are currently breaking out of our bull flag pattern. Now, we were just looking at the Brave New Coin Liquid Index for Bitcoin that updates every 24 hours. So we weren't quite able to see on the higher timeframes that we are actually breaking out of the bull flag pattern. We're still going to want to see those breakouts on the higher timeframes. We're going to want a weekly close above the range. But if we look at the daily time frame, we have a couple of days now trading outside of that bull flag pattern to the upside. So things are looking very good from the standpoint of our bull flag. But another key thing I want to pay attention to here, and we've talked about it for quite some time on the channel, again, is this 21 and 50 EMA cloud, a very clear directional indicator. Bitcoin treats it as support and resistance all the time. And what we are seeing are the three steps that we have talked about for quite some time. We had a nice break above the EMA cloud. We saw the 21 cross above the 50. So we had a bullish cross in terms of our moving averages. And then we saw price come back in, retest this range, and establish a nice higher low, and also establish the cloud as newfound support. So this is a three-step approach to identifying a trend reversal on the daily time frame, and we have gotten each of the three steps so far. Things are looking very, very good for Bitcoin. We discussed this last week as we were testing the moving averages, that while things were looking good, we had the chance to really establish that strength by setting in that higher low. And that's exactly what happened. The bulls came in, they took control of the market at a higher level, and they pushed price to another higher high. So now instead of setting lower high and lower low, one after the other for months on end like we have been doing, we are now establishing a higher low, a higher high, another higher low, and another higher high. So we can see that on the daily time frame, the trend is now bullish. We have a full confirmation with several swing highs and lows to look at that we are in an uptrend. We have completed the three-step trend reversal with our EMA cloud, and we're also trading back above the 200 EMA, which is a nice long-term indicator show of strength. So this is all very promising stuff. We do have a couple levels that we want to pay attention to here. Certainly the $68,000 level that we're currently trading at is going to be important. We had a couple of swing highs here back during the summer. We also had several instances where this $71,000 level was acting as resistance. And if you guys remember, this is about the level that we're looking at on the monthly time frame to try to get that candle body close. And of course, finally, we do have our all-time high just under $74,000. So there's quite a few lines in the sand. There's points where we could see some resistance. But once we get to new all-time highs, and this is very important, we are going to be in what's known as price discovery. That means there is no previous price action for us to base any sort of support and resistance off of. We really don't have any sort of targets other than emotional, psychological levels such as 100K, 150K, 200K, whatever it may be. So price discovery is going to be a very interesting phase for Bitcoin. I also think that is when altcoins will truly have their moment, but we are looking very sharp here. We've broken out of that bull flag. We're establishing those higher highs and higher lows. We got a couple of levels that could act as resistance, so we'll want to keep note of those. But I do think that if we can get some more candle body closes outside of the bull flag, if we can get a weekly candle body close outside of the bull flag, I do think that we will be full speed ahead. So Bitcoin is looking very nice. We've had to wait quite some time for some of these confirmations to come through, but that's not an issue, right? What you want to do is you want to identify the trend and you want to play the trend. For the past few weeks, we've noted that Bitcoin is trading at a nice discount. We've noted that altcoins are trading at a nice discount and that it was time to start building those bags. You can go back and watch our videos for the previous weeks and you'll see that we have been slowly DCAing within the crypto market. So hopefully you've been doing that. Hopefully you still have some more cash on the sideline to play the upward trend. But again, guys, things are looking very good. There's a lot of reason for optimism. So manage your risk, place your bets, do your research. I think that we are preparing for a very rewarding period of time within the crypto market. And in the next couple of videos, I'm going to go over some altcoin narratives that I really like, as well as some of the top altcoins from those narratives, so that way you can prepare in the best way possible for the bull market in 2025. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know your thoughts on the current price action for Bitcoin. What altcoins are you watching? What bags are you stacking? What trades are you taking? And guys, if you want to join our premium Discord, you can do so today with the link down in the description. You'll have access to over 20 trading analysts between stocks, crypto, and Forex. You'll also have access to our custom entry sniper indicator, which you can learn more about here on the YouTube channel. So guys, until the next video, I'll catch you all in the Discord. Peace.